Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the day that the Lord has made. We are rejoicing. We're glad in it. Happy Millionaire Monday. For those of you that are coming on, joining me live, welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. Please do me a quick favor. Hit the like button. Hit the share button. And don't forget to tag Lolly Dolly everybody and let them know that your boy, Ramonepreston, my squad, we are all live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. Today is Monday, Millionaire Monday, August the 14th, 2023. And you, my friend, are watching the Ramonepreston Show. Again, if you're watching me live, don't forget to put in the comments where you're watching us from. Let us know. Put that in the comments. Just put the city in the comments where you're watching us from. I love to know where you're watching us from. I love to give some shout outs to all of you and the city that you're representing. We're live here in Buckhead, Atlanta. Wherever you are, put in the comments. If you are a student or a mentee in any of our educational or coaching programs, would you please be so kind to let the world know Folk Valley is into his aisles. What's up, Folk Valley? Folk Valley. I know exactly where you are. You in our back door. You ain't too far from us, Fort Valley. Listen, if you're a student, if you're a mentee in our educational coaching program, let the world know. Please put in the comments. That you are a student, or maybe you can just type in mentee so that everyone will know. One of the reasons why I always ask you to put the city that you're watching from, and if you're a student or mentee, to put it in the comments, is because even though we don't have a whole lot of people watching live, definitely not as many people that watch it throughout the month. Like for any 30-day window, when we look at our analytics on YouTube alone, we might have about 20,000 people watching our videos on our YouTube page. And so we have a lot of people who come back around and they rewatch these lives because we're talking about things that they're interested in, like what we're going to be talking about today. And so it's always good for people to see other people from other areas watching the show, and for them to know that we have real students and clients who are part of our community. Sometimes when you're watching people on the internet, you don't know if they in a basement, you don't know if they just got a green screen behind them. And I like people to know that we're real business. We have a real location, we got real employees, we got real clients and students on our university platform. We do real business. So I appreciate all of you for watching the show today. Thank you for tuning in. If you're an entrepreneur, if you are an entrepreneur, if you know God has called you to be an entrepreneur, you're supposed to be doing the doggone thing when it comes to business and entrepreneurship. What I share on this show can definitely help you scale that business that you have to the next level. As long as you're willing to just listen and take what I'm giving to you and put it to practice, you're gonna see results. All right, I built our organizational enterprise, my wife and I both, but we built this enterprise from scratch. And so the fact that we can build a 7-figure organizational enterprise, the fact that we have a successful business ministry as well, but business organization, we have a consulting division, we have a coaching division, we have an educational division, and all three of those divisions are continuing to grow. They're succeeding, and we have literally helped. I can't even count the number of people we've helped. I mean, just within the last couple years, since the pandemic, we've probably had about 100 or more mentees come into our coaching program. So that says a lot about what we're giving people and how we're helping people. And some of those people that have come through our coaching program just within the last 3 years, over 100 mentees. Some of them are still in it. Some of them are like 2 to 3 year alumni. They're still in the program. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about my top 4 favorite business concepts. Okay? So I teach these concepts, I teach strategies, and there are some things that I'm just well known for, people know me for, and there are some things that people don't even know that I know because I might not talk a lot about it. But I wanted to talk about my top 4 favorite business concepts. Because if you plan on building a successful organizational enterprise, if you plan on building a $1 million company, or maybe a multi-million-dollar company, or maybe you just want to be a millionaire, you want to be financially free, and you know you're going to have to learn entrepreneurship and leverage business ownership in order to get to where you want to be in terms of your financial freedom, there are certain concepts that you need to learn. And when you learn those concepts, you need to put those concepts to practice, okay? So today I'm going to talk to y'all about my top 4 favorite business concepts. I can personally say these 4 business concepts that I'm about to share with you that are my top 4, these are the 4 that have more to do with my success than any other concept that I've ever been introduced to. Now, I have had to put my twist to these 4 concepts, but they've been able to give me the freedom and the flexibility to get where I am in business. The fact that we are financially free, the fact that we have a 7-figure organization, the fact that we're continuing to grow and expand, and I have no doubt in my mind that we can get to probably 8 figures or more just within the next couple of years as long as we continue to implement and execute these concepts. The fact that what I'm saying to you is real to me, it further validates how important these 4 business concepts are. So I'll give you my top 4 favorites, and then I'll explain a little bit about these 4. And for those of you that are interested in learning more about these 4 concepts and learning how to execute these 4 concepts at the highest level, I want you to stay tuned to the end because I'm going to give you a call to action. I'm going to give you a number that you could text me today, and I have a special offer that I'm going to present to you, and I promise you, this offer is going to be an offer that you just can't refuse. And you ain't even got to watch the movie Godfather. But I'm going to give you an offer that you just can't refuse today. And I'm doing it because I want you to succeed. I don't want you to end this year the same way you came into this year. If you're an entrepreneur, you're trying to figure out how to get your business going. How do you generate revenue? How do you add some structure to it? How do you leverage the assets that you have and the opportunities that you have? How do you even wake up every day and deal with all the day-to-day complexities that come with owning a business or running a business? I'm going to give you an offer that's going to help you. So what are my top 4 business or favorite business concepts? Let me give you my top 4, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. And again, for those of you that are watching live, if you have any questions, put the question in the comment. Put the question in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer any question that you might have about business, about holding companies, about tax strategies, about LLCs, about systems, processes. Today, I want to talk about my top 4 favorite business concepts, okay? Well, of course, my first favorite is the holding company, all right? There's a concept behind the holding company, and hopefully y'all on IG can see it, but there's a concept behind the holding company, and that's my one of my top 4 favorite business concepts, the holding company. Another concept, asset management. Okay, creative tax strategies. Systems and processes. So if you were to ask me, Ramon, what are your top favorite business concepts? I have a lot of business concepts that I love. I have a lot of business concepts that I use. Every successful business owner has a lot of concepts that they love and use, but we all have like our top favorites, all right? And so my top 4 favorite business concepts that I learned, that I have used, that have helped me become who I am today and have what I have today are the following. These are my top 4 favorites. So if you've ever wondered, like, what are your favorite concepts? Like, what are the things that you use to get the most leverage out of what you do every day in business? Here are my top 4. Number 1, the holding company. Number 2, asset management. Number 3, creative tax strategies. Number 4, systems and processes. I promise you this, if all you did was just took maybe a month, you might be able to pull it off in 2 to 3 weeks if you are like diligent, but definitely within a month. If you just took a month, if you just gave yourself 1 month to learn the ins and outs of holding companies, asset management when it comes to holding companies, creative tax strategies, systems and processes, if you just gave yourself a month to learn and to familiarize yourself with just these 4 business concepts, I can guarantee your life, your money, your business, your professionalism will literally accelerate and skyrocket 100% without a shadow of a doubt. There's absolutely no way, if you are an entrepreneur or if you want to be an entrepreneur, that you can learn these 4 concepts and start working them into what you do every day as an entrepreneur. Ain't no way in this world you can do that and within a month don't see some results. Most likely you're going to see an increase of sales, and we've got proof. We've got like research that we do on these things. So what I'm saying to you is not just something I'm saying to you off the top of my head. I ain't just, speaking on the side of my tongue or just shooting from the hip. We do a lot of research. We work with people who do research, and we study and track the metrics and the results that not only our students and our mentees get, but we track the results from the activities that we participate with and on every day so that we can see what's working and what's not working. All right. So if there were 4 top favorite business concepts that I would highly recommend you to learn and for you to use, especially if you're a small business owner or a solopreneur, or you got a side hustle, but you work a job and you want to build a successful business, these are going to be the 4, all right? So let me explain a little bit why I consider these to be my top 4 favorite business concepts, okay? Well, number 1, the holding company is really about structure. It's about how you structure your business. It's about how you position yourself in your business. And it's really about leveraging the resources that you have, especially when you're just getting started in business. See, most entrepreneurs, when they get an idea to start a business, what do? They start an LLC, and let's say if you have an idea to start a clothing line, then what type of LLC are you going to start? Most likely, you're going to start a clothing line LLC. If you're an entrepreneur, you have an idea to start a restaurant, or you have an idea to provide a certain service or sell a certain product, most likely you, like almost every other entrepreneur, when you get ready to start a business based on the idea that you have to sell a product or to provide a service, you're going to build that initial LLC around what? You're going to build it around that idea you got. So if it's clothes, if it's painting, if it's cleaning, if it's transportation or trucking, if it's Airbnb, if it's Turo, whatever the thing is that you have an idea to do as an entrepreneur, almost every entrepreneur, when they set out to start a business based on the idea that they have to sell a product or to provide a service, almost every entrepreneur builds the LLC around the thing that they do. It's an industry specific operational company. Can we all agree on that? Am I wrong? Am I off on that? If you're watching and you're listening to me, like, talk back to me. Tell me, bro, you off. You ain't right about that. Like, if I meet somebody who wants to paint for a living and they paint houses or they clean houses or, you know, they got a travel business or whatever the things are that they do. Anytime I meet an entrepreneur or somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur, when they start a business, most of the times they're starting, almost every time, they starting the business in the industry that they have an idea in. That's typical. But when you understand concepts like the holding company, that's not going to be the first business you probably start. Because now you're thinking about structure, you're thinking about your position. These are just key words that you're going to think about when you understand the holding company concept, okay? You're going to think about structure. Let me kind of give you some key words when it comes to holding company. You're going to think about structure. You're going to think about position. You should be thinking about brand. These are things that you should be thinking about. You should also be thinking about your legacy when you understand the holding company concept. But again, most entrepreneurs, because they do not understand the holding company concept, they don't understand the value of it. They don't know how important it is to be familiar with that type of concept. What happens is, instead of them starting and structuring their business empire or their corporate structure the right way, they start with the operational business, but then they get down the road and they realize, oh wow, there are more things that I want to do. I want to be in real estate, or I want to start a transportation company, or I want to invest in the stock market. And now it kind of feels awkward when, let's say, you have a cleaning business and you're trying to figure out, okay, well, how do I start investing in the stock market through my cleaning business? Which you can, but sometimes it creates conflict. It creates clutter. This is why you want to learn and familiarize yourself with this concept. This is why the holding company concept is like one of my top 4 favorite business concepts. Like, this concept alone has helped me so much as an entrepreneur because, number one, it has helped me to build a structure, an infrastructure that can work today and it can work 100 years from now. It has helped position me at the top of my organizational enterprise, as opposed to just staying positioned as an operator trying to sell a product or to provide a service. It has helped me to not just create a legacy, but to build a foundation, because now my holding company is my legacy company. It's an easier transition even when you start thinking about starting a trust. Like, a lot of people are getting into starting trusses and creating trusses for their family. Well, if you have a holding company, it's easier to just transfer the ownership of your holding company to your trust, because all your other companies are probably under your holding company. This concept helps you with your brand. Just like I shared with y'all a couple shows ago, how there are so many companies that are well-known companies today. They're like, let me show you. I think I might still have that list. Companies like J.P. Morgan, S.C. Johnson or Johnson & Johnson, Kroger, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Ramonepreston. What do all these companies have in common? They're all holding companies, and they all represent the name of someone. They all represent someone's name. Why is that important? Here's why it's important. Because somebody thought about brand, and somebody understood that in order for my brand to become common and to be known, I need to make sure that I position myself and structure my business in a way that my legacy and my brand can be made known. That's why this concept is so important. So the holding company concept is one of my top 4 favorite business concepts. For so many other different reasons, I just want to share a few. Number 2, this is the second favorite business concept of mine. Asset management. Why is asset management one of my favorite concepts? Because when you start and structure a holding company correctly, you essentially become an asset manager. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you become an asset manager. See, most small business owners, they ain't even thinking about the asset management side of business. Most of them don't even know how to be real CEOs because they're not educated and trained and developed in concepts like this. So all they do is wake up every day, and all they trying to do is just sell a product or provide a service or execute on the delivery of the product and service. So they are laborers with jobs. They own their job now. They're laborers, or at best they're business operators, but they never really become asset managers. So once you understand the holding company concept, learning about asset management is critical. What are some key words that you need to understand when it comes to asset management? Well, one is accumulation. Because when you become more proficient, more educated, more trained, more polished as an asset manager, and I'm not talking about like the Wall Street asset manager. I'm talking about your street asset manager. I'm talking about you having a holding company, you having divisions under your holding company, subsidiaries or operating companies under your holding company, and you learning how to utilize that type of business structure to leverage all the things that you have, to take the resources that you have, the ideas that you have, the business activities that you have, and maximize them. And you really have to do this a lot of times without a lot of working capital. You might not have loans and banks that give you money. You might be scrapping every day, but just having this understanding, it gives you more flexibility. It gives you more leverage. It gives you more bandwidth. It gives you more wiggle room to really make things happen. So when you think about asset management, understanding it means you want to begin to understand accumulation. How do I accumulate assets? This is a part of the asset management process. So you have to learn how to accumulate. Well, you got to learn how to identify. Like if this was an asset, if this pen, which this pen is an asset to this digital board, right? Because if I have my finger doesn't write. So if I have this digital board and I don't have this pen, I am unable to get the most out of this board, right? Because I don't have this pen. So this pen becomes an asset to this board because now I can write when I have the pen. But I have to be able to identify with what this pen is and the value and the utility it has regarding this board. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when you understand asset management as a business owner, you will identify with things that will be assets and have utility to your business, where other people will walk in this room and see this and they won't even know what it is. Like my grandkids, they know, because when they come into my office, the first thing they want to do is come up to my studio and they want to play on my whiteboard. right? And my digital whiteboard. So my grandkids can walk in the room and they can see this, and they already know exactly what this is. They know this has use on this. This is an asset. But somebody else will come in my studio and see this sitting around and be like, what is this, a marker? Or what is this, like a toy? You wouldn't know what it is. So that means as an asset manager of a company, of a corporation with multiple entities, you have to learn how to accumulate assets, but you got to be able to identify with them. Once you start accumulating them, then accumulation transitions you into integration. Now you got to figure out, where do I integrate these assets into my business to give them the most value, the most utility, to increase my market position, my market value, my revenue. But this is something that's powerful. And if you really take the time to think about what I'm saying right now, you can do all this even when you don't really have a whole lot of revenue. That's the good part about this. You can build this type of infrastructure. You can start operating and executing with these types of concepts, and you don't have a whole lot of revenue, but you have a whole lot of knowledge on how to really position this infrastructure and move things around in this infrastructure that creates activity that ultimately increases your value and your net worth. So you have accumulation, you have integration, and then the next phase is valuation. And the valuation stage is really, it's really diverse, because it changes the valuation of your business, meaning that if I have a holding company and I have a couple operating companies under my holding company, and I start accumulating assets and integrating them into my holding company, my operating company. And these could be different assets. These could be intellectual property. It could be ideas. It could be systems. It could be technology. It could be equipment. It could be real estate. It could be business contracts. It could be a whole lot of stuff. And I start integrating them into my business. It starts increasing the value of my organization. Why? Because I'm managing assets now. So that's the second favorite business concept of mine. Okay, number 3, the third business concept that's a favorite of mine is creative tax strategies. Now, again, I'm not a tax strategist. I'm not an attorney. I'm an entrepreneur. All right. Even though I coach and consult and educate people on business and concepts and principles, but I'm an entrepreneur. I work with lawyers and tax strategists and CPAs. I learn a lot from them, but I'm an entrepreneur. So a lot of the things that I'm sharing with you from a perspective of an entrepreneur who's either developed strategies that worked, or I've learned them from other people who have helped me to come up with what works for me. Okay? So I don't know everything about taxes and accounting and certain legal language that's necessary for business. But when I learn those things and bring them together, and they've been vetted by the people who know them and who are experts in them, I like to bring that information to my audience to show you that these are the concepts that help scale my business, and they help me continue to move forward. Well, creative tax strategies are one of them. Now, when you think about creative tax strategies, I want to just kind of simplify this, because I'm referring to a series of plans or action steps that you're taking on a day-to-day basis as an entrepreneur that help you minimize taxes and maximize profits. So again, when there are certain business activities that you're doing on a day-to-day basis, a lot of times those activities, when you're not sure, they need to be vetted by a tax strategist, a CPA. Like, I don't make big business decisions without calling my CPA, my tax strategist, or even attorneys and asking them, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Can I do this? Number one. And if I can do it, what do I need to be mindful of? And then my CPA or my tax strategist will say, well, yes, you can do that. It's nothing wrong with you doing that. But when you do that, just understand that this is a non-taxable event. That is a taxable event. And if you did this, but you wanted to do that, you're going to have to do that after you pay taxes doing this. So you have these experts who show you exactly what steps you need to take, but you're still the entrepreneur. This is why you need to at least familiarize yourself with the basic tax strategies so that every day you wake up and you participating in business activities, yes, you have CPAs and tax strategists and lawyers that you can communicate with, but if you do have those types of people, you got to be making money to pay them to even be able to reach out to them and talk with them. But you got to at least learn enough. I always tell this to people that I talk with when they tell me, well, how do you implement this and how do you do that? How do I prevent from paying taxes if I did this, and how do I do this with 2 or 3 businesses? You got to get to a point to where, number one, you educate yourself enough to know what you're doing. Because I've had a whole lot of students and mentees that I've sat down with and talked to them, and I share with them certain creative tax strategies that I use in my multiple business activities, and they like, oh, how did you learn that? Well, number one, I had to educate myself, and I got to keep educating myself. But I also vet and filter these things that I learn with or through CPAs, attorneys, and tax people who know this stuff better than me. So I don't have to learn all the stuff that they know, but I need to know enough to know how to wake up every day, have multiple business activities, and know how to track my income, my expenses, my cash collected, know enough about forecasting into the future so that I can have an idea of what my potential tax liability would be at any time of the year so I can stay on top of it. Most entrepreneurs don't even know where to start. But then when you explain certain principles and concepts like this, they like, well, I don't need to learn. You need to learn that if you're going to be successful, because I'm telling you, the moment I'm going to put it this way. The moment you start making money as an entrepreneur, the first problem you're going to have is a tax problem. But a lot of times, entrepreneurs and small business owners never even get to a place that they're making enough money to have a tax problem. Do you understand what I'm saying? So sometimes you never even get to a point to where you have a tax problem because you ain't making enough money, because you don't really know how to set your business structure up in a way, accumulate assets, which means that these 2 concepts that we talked about earlier, you don't have a clue about. But when you do start making money and you start paying a lot of taxes, it is because you don't know enough about how to minimize those taxes. Like, what business activities can you actually participate in to lower your tax bill, maximize your profits, and give you that leverage and that wiggle room to grow your business exponentially. Because if you're going to grow your business, I promise you, if you're going to grow your business to a point to where you got $1 million more company, you hiring people, you making big power moves, you are not going to do any of that without tax strategies. It's just no way. If you do it like some people do, I'm talking about like celebrities or famous people, they might go out there, or athletes, they might go out there and make a lot of money, but they giving a whole lot of that money up. So they living off their talent, but they give a whole lot of that money up because they don't know things like this. They're not business people. You get what I'm saying? So my third top favorite business concept is creative tax strategies. And this is because creative tax strategies help you figure out creative ways to minimize your taxes, maximize your deductions. All right, my fourth and final favorite business concept is systems and processes. Like, if you feel like, I always say this, if you are an entrepreneur or a small business owner and you feel like you're all over the place, and or if you feel like you can't really get momentum, you're having a hard time like getting your business going because you stuck having to do everything. You don't have anybody you can hire. You don't have enough money to hire people. You feel like you can't, the moment you start marketing, you lose sales. The moment you start selling, your financials get backed up. Like, you got so many moving parts. One of the reasons why you're so overwhelmed is because you do not have a basic understanding of systems and processes. Or in other words, you don't know how to create or manage a general operating system. All right. So when you think of systems and processes, what I mean by that is sales systems and processes, systems and processes for your marketing, systems and processes for your admin. Maybe you need some systems and processes for your executive office, for you as a CEO, and just for your general operations. All right? But these are the concepts that you have to familiarize yourself with. So yes, it takes a little work. It takes a little, brain space. It may take you to go through some courses and to get a little mentorship. But once you figure it out and learn it, just with these 4 of my favorite business concepts, I promise you that you will start seeing momentum. Like, there is no way, there is no individual that I've ever worked with for an extended period of time who have learned these things and hadn't seen any results. Like, it's inevitable. Once you figure it out, you got it. Okay? So I would love to get some feedback from all of you that are watching. Like, maybe there was something I said that was like an aha moment for you. Give me a takeaway. Give me some feedback. Put in the comments like what your biggest takeaway is from today's show. Like, what did I say that you learned today that you realize, okay, I definitely got to learn that? Is it something about holding companies? Do you need to learn about properly positioning yourself? Do you need to learn more about structuring your business the right way? Do you need to figure out the branding play for your business? Is it asset management? Do you know how to accumulate assets, integrate them into your holding company or your enterprise? Do you know how to evaluate them? Do you know how to create value? This is something that's common in real estate, but in business ownership, it's a similar concept. It's just that you're not using property and tenants, but you're actually using assets that you're accumulating, very similar. So asset management, there may be a takeaway that you got, or maybe a question. When it comes to creative tax strategies, did you learn anything about how to minimize your taxes and maximize your deductions? These are things that you could do as a W-2 employee. If you're a 1099 contractor or a legitimate full-time business owner, there are strategies that you can use across the spectrum to minimize your taxes, maximize your deductions. When it comes to the concept of systems and processes, it's about you learning and becoming more familiar with systems and processes for your sales, your marketing, your administration, your executive operations, and really putting together a general operating system so that you can simplify your day-to-day activities. So I told y'all I'm getting ready to end today's show. We're live for those of you that are watching. It's Monday, August the 14th, and I'm super excited about this new offer. I just talked to my team about this morning. We're still finalizing all the details of this new offer, but I wanted to at least introduce it to you just in case you're watching the show today and you're really ready to get educated on these types of concepts and execute these concepts at the highest level. I'm extending a special offer today. And so here's what the offer is. We're going to be hosting in the next 2 weeks, we're going to be hosting a one-day virtual business boot camp, okay? I'm gonna host a virtual business boot camp. I love our virtual events that we host because number one, it gives you an opportunity to join me no matter where you are, because all you have to do is log into your dashboard and access the live virtual event. But number two, it gives me an opportunity to answer more questions. That's very important to me. So when we're not virtual, when we're live and in person, number one, it hinders and limits how many people can show up, because we have people from all around the United States that are students and mentees, or they follow us on social media and watch our content. So our virtual events always seem to have the biggest result. They always give us the biggest bang, all right? So within the next 2 weeks, we're gonna be hosting a one-day virtual business boot camp, okay? This boot camp is going to be, it's actually 2.5 weeks from now. It's gonna be on a Saturday. And it will be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm gonna take about 6 hours and I'm gonna do a deep dive live. And here's the things that we're gonna be talking about. We're gonna be talking about holding companies. I'm gonna be showing you how to start and structure them, how to file and form your paperwork. I'm gonna show you how to obtain your EIN, your articles of organization for your LLC, what language you need to use, how to draft your operating agreement. I'm gonna give you the game. We're gonna talk about holding companies. We're gonna talk about asset management. So I'm gonna take some time in this live boot camp to really show you how to identify with assets so that you can accumulate them, how to integrate them into your business, especially if you have multiple entities, and how to use these assets to really increase the value of your company, the market value, the revenue value, the net worth of your company. That's a very big deal in today's world. We're gonna also talk about some creative tax strategies. So I'm gonna show you things that you can do on a day-to-day basis, whether you're a W-2 employee, a 1099 contractor, or all of the above, and a business owner. I'm gonna show you things that you can implement every day to minimize your tax liability and maximize your profitability. I'm gonna show you how I wake up every day and run multiple business operations, but I stay on top of tracking my income, my expenses, the cash collected. I forecast out into the future so that I'm always clear on what my potential tax liability is, because that helps me to determine what moves I need to make today so that I can lower that tax bill and increase my profits. I'm gonna also take some time in this live boot camp to show you how to put together a general operating system. So you need a general operating system. You need to know how to wake up every day as a solopreneur or a business owner with a couple employees, and how to manage the day-to-day operations of your sales, your marketing, your administration, your own executive operations, and how to track the data for all those activities. That's where you start understanding KPIs. You're able to identify with the key performance indicators, things that work, things that don't work. So I'm going to be sharing all of this with you during our upcoming live virtual business boot camp. I would love for you to join me, but here's the biggest catch. The biggest catch is, not only am I inviting you to join me, and I want you to take me up on this offer so that you can get a VIP ticket to this boot camp, but I want to also give you access to 4 courses. All right, I'm gonna give you 1 year access to 4 courses. I'm gonna give you access to our holding company course, which not only has all the training on holding companies, but we have a startup kit inside of it. So we have operating agreements inside, already pre-drafted. We have all the paperwork. We have other agreements like asset transfer agreements, lease agreements, licensing agreements, consulting agreements. It's all inside of that course. I want to give you 1 year access to the holding company course, and I'm going to give you access to our asset management course to show you how to use the holding company to accumulate assets. I'm going to give you access to our creative tax strategy course and our corporate systems and processes course. Like I told y'all, I was going to give y'all an offer today that you just can't refuse. The offer is 1 VIP ticket to my upcoming virtual boot camp, where I'm going to be deep diving into all these subjects, right? So that's 1 VIP ticket to the virtual boot camp plus four courses. I'm going to give you the holding company course, asset management course, creative tax strategy course, and our systems and processes course. Like, you cannot, it's just no way, like, you can't beat that. There's no way you're going to beat that, all right? So here's the deal. I know you're probably saying, okay, how much is it going to cost for me to get access to all that? I want somebody to give me an idea. How much do you think I'm going to offer a VIP ticket and 4 courses for? How much do you think? I wonder if you could guess it. I wonder if there's just one person on here that could actually guess how much that's going to be. I want you to text the word boot camp. This is the word that I want you to text to 678-276-8253. I don't think nobody will be able to guess how much I'm going to be offering all that for. Listen, I hope y'all have enjoyed yourselves today. This has been an amazing show. I think I shared a lot of information and shed some light on not just the 4 top favorite concepts of mine for business, but the 4 concepts that you're probably gonna have to learn the basics on if you plan on building at least $1 million company. It's just almost impossible to do that and you don't have those concepts activated in your business. So again, if you're interested in joining me in 2 weeks, probably 2.5 weeks, for a live virtual business boot camp that I'm going to be hosting, all right, it's going to be a 1-day virtual deep dive. I'm going to be teaching you, this is what I'm going to be teaching you. So it's going to be like a 6-hour deep dive. We're going to be talking about holding companies, how to start and structure them. We're going to be talking about asset management, how to accumulate assets, integrate them into your business to increase your net worth. We're going to be talking about creative tax strategies, how to minimize your taxes, maximize your business deductions. We're going to be talking about systems and processes, how to create a general operating system for your sales, your marketing, your financials, your administration, and your general business operations. All right, so that's going to be 1 VIP ticket plus 1 year access to four courses on holding companies, asset management, creative tax strategies, systems and processes. All right, you can text the word boot camp to 678-276-8253. I don't think nobody would guess how much we are introducing this offer for, but just in case you were wondering, we're offering it for $97. You pay $97, you get a VIP ticket to my upcoming virtual boot camp, and you get 1 year access to 4 courses for $97. Like, you just can't beat that. I'm giving it away. I'm giving you 4 courses. So you could get access to the courses today. You can start training on these courses, and then when you show up for the live virtual boot camp, any questions you have about your holding company, tax strategies, asset management, systems and processes, you not only get the 1-day training, but you also get the questions answered during the boot camp. But you have the courses at your disposal for a whole year. So this is what I'm going to be teaching and talking about, deep diving on during the boot camp. So you get a VIP ticket to the boot camp, and you get 1 year access to these 4 courses. So you get 1 whole year to train on holding companies, to train on asset management, to train on creative tax strategies, to train on systems and processes. And I'm giving all that to you for 97 bucks. All you have to do is text the word boot camp. When you text boot camp to this number, we know you saw the live and you heard me give the offer, and we're gonna honor it. All right, I appreciate all of you for joining the show today. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. If you have any questions and you need some answers or just need some direction on what you need to do, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Text bootcamp to 678-276-8253. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. I'll see you tomorrow, Tuesday, 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Ramon